Well, morning. Actually, it's mid-morning. Sorry about that. Got to clear my throat a little bit. Um, just kind of got back from hiking 35 miles on a Washita Trail a day or so ago. Heater was out. I got that fixed yesterday. Truck wasn't fixed because evidently it slipped somebody's mind to do what they needed to do to it. So still at home, but today is an exciting but for me a little worrisome day. It is November 3rd, which happens to be election day in 2020. Uh, so let me see here. Hadn't done a video in a while. Had to do a lot of thinking about what was going on, trying to stay out of the whole political thing during the election cycle. Because I mean, people are just too fickle, and it's one of those. Oh, you hurt my feelings. You're bad person. When they just it's my opinion. Don't have to like it, but you can respect it, just like I've learned to respect a lot of other people's opinions. And that don't mean that I like them, but we'll just remember that opinions are like butts. Everybody's got one, and they usually stink. So let's go from there. All right. So decided to do this video this morning and put it out here real quick, and hopefully people watch it through the day. If not, they'll catch it and um, got some concerns because the last 24 hours I've gotten a lot of heads up emails from people that send me stuff that says, okay, the fact checking things, they have fact checked the crap out of Trump. Everything the man says, there's 4 million people going, oh, it's not. It's if it's not right, trust me, it's all over the news for days. If it is right, not a peep. Well, yeah, that's right. All right. So on the other hand, when they fact check Biden, I don't think they're really fact checking Biden at all because got a big email and you look at his tax plan that he says he's going to end the Trump tax cuts day one if he's president elect. All right. But he's not going to raise taxes on anybody that makes less than 400,000. So let's think about this for a minute. The average person in this country has a 4% tax break because of the Trump tax cuts. So if he ends them, that means your taxes are going to go up by minimum of 4%, depending on what state that you're in. He also wants to shut down the economy, which would just totally ruin the country because, I don't know, he wants to sell it to China. Another thing is he's, what they call a public option in healthcare, so government run healthcare. There's a reason why people from Canada and all over the world come to the United States to get their healthcare. It's because it's not government run. There's no public option. It's expensive. I don't think it should be that expensive, but let me explain to you a little bit about why it's expensive. If you don't have insurance, you can get a cash price for a surgery. For example, I had my gallbladder removed. Didn't have insurance on it. It's a $10,000 surgery cash price. If you have insurance, it's $27,000. Yeah, you heard me. If you have insurance, they bill the insurance company $27,000. If you don't have insurance, you pay $10,000 out of your pocket. Yes, they'll take payment plans. You have to have 30% up front. That's the way I did it. That's the way another guy I know did it. And it goes on, and through the process, there's no interest on it. You just make your monthly payments to it. Okay, cool. Why is it almost 3 times the price if you have medical insurance? That's one reason why medical insurance is so expensive. Another reason is that people don't realize is Trump actually signed an executive order that is going to bring cost of pharmaceuticals down because the pharmaceutical companies were selling to us for 10 times more than they were in any other country. But nobody's paid attention to that. So your insulin that was $200, $300, $400, $500 is now going to be like $35 when it takes effect, which I'm sure Biden will stroke that out of the way because it's an executive order. The next president can get rid of it. Okay. Now, it was asked to the pharmaceutical companies on why this was done. Well, they could get away with it. There's no rule saying we can't charge you in this country 100 times what it cost us to make it. That's basically what they were doing. It kind of like the EpiPen used to be like $50, and then all of a sudden it went to $350 because I have a daughter that carries one. Why? Because we could. Okay, go capitalism, but there's got to be a limit on, okay, now I'm greedy and go on. The difference with pharmaceuticals is you don't have a great big option of, well, I can go from here to here to buy this. It's pretty much a one supply deal, so it breaks to me down into the monopoly of it. Okay, here's another thing for all you gun owners. All right, this has come out. I've talked to several people about it last night. There are several bills. Matter of fact, one that's going to give ATF more power that's already lined up in the Democratic controlled House of Representatives, praying that Biden wins the election, going to shut down about, I'd say, a good 30% of FFL dealers because they want to sit there and say, hey, if you don't sell this sales volume, we're going to pull your license. So the little hobbyist that's got an FFL and, he sells all the stuff, but he might sell one or two a month, yeah, they're going to look at putting him out of business. Not only does that, it creates a registry. And not only does it create a registry, now it creates all this other stuff. Then on top of that, he's wanting to ban all these kind of weapons that are, okay, that they're listed as quote unquote assault weapons, which is a bad terminology because it's not an assault weapon. It is a sporting rifle. But they're looking at all semi-automatic bans. That means pistols, rifles, anything that goes bang, bang, bang every time you pull the trigger. Okay. There's a reason they want to do this. Okay. Every other country that's done this back in the 30s and the 20s killed millions and millions and millions of people. And everybody today go, oh my God, they wouldn't do that. Really? They really wouldn't do that. Y'all need to look at Agenda 21, where the depopulation of the earth should be like 500,000 people. 176 countries signed up on that, by the way. You can't find it all in one part because, people were getting wise to them. Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Why are they building these camps up with, and they've been doing it for 20 years with fence tours and, like it's a reversed prison kind of deal. Look them up. They're all over. Hell, if you go to Google Maps and type in FEMA camps, there's 300-400 of them across this country. One in Tulsa, one in Oklahoma City. I'm between a bunch of them. Okay, so there's that. It really comes down to people have not been taught that your well-being is up to you, not up to the government. The federal government's job is to protect the country from foreign invaders. End of discussion. Pretty much it. Okay. Make sure that there's no big civil war. Other than that, it falls into the states. All right. So Trump's let the states go on and do their thing. All right. So depending on what state you live in, depends on how crazy it gets. All right. So there's that. Then on top of that, there's a leaked Zoom call with members of certain organizations that are considered left-wing and people that actually work for the Big Brother GOV, type area, talking about how to get into this and their plans of what they're going to do. Trump wins re-election. Anybody I know of, put that live on out there, and there it is going to have their front door kicked in. And, it's going to be a terrorist charge and all kinds of other stuff. So how comes nothing going on there? I'll tell you why. It's because a certain section of our government supports them, so they're going to support them back. It's actually going to take things that go on to defeat them. And, yeah, it's going to get hairy in some bigger cities, and I'm not wanting to really go back to work because people are going to get stupid. And if people get stupid, that puts a lot of people's lives in jeopardy because they don't care about the little man. They don't care about any shop owner. They just want to go out and destroy stuff. And yeah, if you look up, I bet a bunch of these people are getting paid because they're not from the area that goes on. Another thing is, if you notice the last couple of years, if you go get your state picture done, a state ID, a photograph, a driver's license, this, and you wear glasses and a ball cap, they will now want you to take them glasses off. Yeah, because it's all facial recognition now. There was a guy actually caught using facial recognition technology that was accused of rape. Okay, that's cool. I can get down with that. I can see that. But how long is it before they say, oh, we own this or you own that, or oh, wait a minute, you bought too much flour this month? People need to realize that technology is good to a certain point, and then other than that, it's used for abused. What's another thing that they've got going on? I believe the last two elections have been more important elections than anyone in history because it's literally coming down to, do you want to remain free or do you want to remain what they call socialist? Okay, now socialist is government run everything. And everybody says, oh, well, they're using that as fear, they're using that as fear. Okay, no problem, Joe Biden. Ease my mind. How come you won't sit there and say, yeah, you believe in Supreme Court packing? Okay. Am I happy Trump's done what he's done? Yeah, I am. Do I think that they're going to sit there and legislate from the bench? No, I do not. Do I think that if the left side of it got in there and court packed it and they had a 6-3 lead, they'd have taken a chance? No. Do I think that the liberal judges would sit there and follow the laws? No. I think they would legislate from the bench. It's kind of like here, as Joe Biden said when he was vice president after he got out of office, he said, "You damn right I told that Ukrainian or whatever his guy was over there next to Russia, is you quit investigating my son or you ain't getting your money." Oh, wait a minute. He's on tape admitting quid pro quo. They tried to throw Trump in prison for that. Oh. You guys ever heard of the Nazi playbook? Something that Hitler and the Nazis did? It's called accuse your opponents of what you're guilty of till it becomes truth. No, I'm not saying Trump's perfect. But the president office is not a popularity contest. It's who's got the best policies for the country. And, our Constitution gives a lot of people freedoms, and they use it against this country. And that aggravates the crap out of me. Because you've got the right to protest, peacefully protest. That don't mean burn shit down. Don't mean hurt people. That don't mean attack people. A lot of craziness that goes on. Dum 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 dum. So at this point in time, we're just gonna end it. People really need to do their research instead of thinking things are popularity contest. That seems to be my biggest deal. Is because why people sit there and say they're voting for somebody? It's because, oh, I don't like him, or oh, I like him. Don't matter if you like him or not. What's his what policies are you voting for? Are your policies to increase taxes on yourself? Are you voting to end your freedoms? Or are you voting to expand your freedoms? Are you voting to expand more money in your pocket? Are you voting for, great job buildings? And I hate to tell you, windmills is not a great job. I mean, all over the country, got to have oil to lube the machine. Nobody realizes that. They replace them every 10 years if they need them or not. They will never pay for themselves. Matter of fact, why don't they run the windmills a little more if they're so efficient down here in the South? When it comes down to it and it gets colder and the wind's blowing, instead of turning them off and running the old school power plants. There's a reason for that. It's called failure. Okay? It's kind of like the big solar power panels. They're good for about 10 years, and then what do they do? Oh, well, it's not pitting out. It's not within this ohm reading, or it's not, it dropped a half a volt, so according to our specs, we got to replace this thing. They do their job for what they're supposed to do, but they're not as efficient as everybody wants you to believe they are. So, everybody that is a believer and a Christian in my book is you can't support somebody that believes in abortion, because Jesus in the Bible tells us all the time, leave the children alone. Matter of fact, he got out, chastised his disciples many times. Said, you let them children come to me. Don't run them off. Got in their heinies over it. Okay, that's one. Another one is if you feel that government should control. No, God's in control, and there's a lot of things that are biblically prophesied. But I also feel there's a lot of Christians under the the guise of belief of listening to everybody just tell them, oh, we're going to miss all this. The rapture is going to happen and we're going to be out of here. But if you actually get in and study Revelation and ask for discernment of that, we're going to be here for a lot of stuff. Okay, Jesus tells you the whole way through the Bible to prepare. That's mind, body, spirit. And if you sit there and you have a dream about something and you sit there and you ask God for the discernment of it, He'll give it to you. But you have to sit there and want it. You know, easy. It's easy to believe that your body will not ever suffer in anything than it is to believe that everybody in the Bible, except for the prophet Elijah, and I forget another one, that's probably going to come back to the Wailing Wall when all of it goes on as the witnesses, which is talked about in Revelation, was pulled out by fiery chariots. Every other disciple, every other believer is prosecuted and hunted. So what makes you think that you as a Christian are so much special than everybody else? I mean, I'm special because, yes, I believe that I'm saved by God's grace. I'm a sinner saved by grace. But when I'm talking about special of, if you don't think that your feet's not going to be held to the fire and your metal's not ever going to be tested, I think that's where most people go wrong. We'll leave it at that. And I've come up to that because different things that I've read, things that I've studied, conversations I've had with assistant pastors and all over the country. And it's, I'll tell you this, one thing it guarantees for sure is nobody knows except the Father the time of God's return. But I tell you what, we're starting to knock on that door. I remember when I was a kid, I asked God for, hey, I want to be married and have kids before you come back. That was something that, and I've got kids that are grown. I've got two that are still in high school. I've got a grandbaby on the way. I was married and divorced, and God's blessed me tremendously through my life. But I've also learned that you have to learn to listen to Him, and it's up to, if it's not for God's grace and blessings, that I wouldn't have what I have or be where I'm at or the understanding that I have. So today I am hopefully, and I'm praying that Trump gets elected, and I hope it's a blowout, and I hope he retains the Senate, and I would love to see him to get the House. Yeah, it'd be a 2-year lead on the whole deal. I think a lot of things could get done. I don't think he's power happy. I think that's just, if you want to maintain things that you do go on, that gives you 4 years to prepare. Some of the predictions sit there and say that he's going to have a blowout of like 370 to 190, which would be great. News talking this morning that Biden's got a 10-point lead. If you remember, Hillary had a 16-point lead. There's a lot of people that go in and vote, and they don't tell you how they vote. They had a lot of what they called Reagan Democrats come out and vote for Trump in 2016. I hope they come out and vote for him again, because where they're getting their information is, oh, well, this is Democrat ballot and this is Republican ballot. So unless they've looked at it and opened it up and already crunched numbers, which is illegal, by the way, because they can't do that by certain times tonight, then they have to go strictly off who mailed what ballot. And it's always been a proven effort that more Democrats vote early than Republicans. And then the turnout of today, Nat, will turn out a lot. But other than that, I love you guys. Thanks for watching the videos. I know I haven't done one in a while, and it's because, like I said, I've tried to stay off the political side. But it's at that point, this is really going to affect us all one way or the other. Got some interesting news on the farm stuff. Got a little video, probably 5-minute deal, of part of the hike to put out of some pictures and stuff. If you look up Greg Clark on Instagram, I've been posting a lot of pictures on there of places I've been and stuff I've seen. Go in there and like it, follow it, because that is strictly no comments. It is strictly just straight pictures. And there are some gorgeous pictures from the Ouachita Trail and some other places I've been in the country and things that I've seen. It's absolutely gorgeous. But again, I want to thank of all the subscribers. Um, love you guys. Thank you. Please like, share, and stay vigilant. Be safe.